Big news for Arsenal fans as Rodrigo again barely features for Real Madrid in the Club World Cup. We know in the previous match, he didn't play a single minute off the bench. This match, he comes in just for the last 25 minutes. They're already up 2-0. The match is gone. They've already won the group. They're moving forward. Meaningless minutes for Rodrigo. And by the way, he looked like he didn't even care. Completing no key dribbles, no key passes, no goals, no assists. Looking like there was no impetus for him to really make a mark on the game. He has one foot out the door at Real Madrid at this moment. And no matter what Xabi Alonso says about, we love Rodrigo, we want to keep Rodrigo, that's just stuff to try and keep that price up high for Rodrigo. But it seems almost guaranteed that this is a split between Madrid and Rodrigo at some point this summer. The biggest stumbling block to me on this deal is timing. It's clear that Arsenal are operating at a totally different level this window than to what we have seen in the past now that Andrea Berta is here. We are moving quickly on deals, trying to get players in for preseason and get this team gelled and ready to go so we can break records in the Premier League this year. Just look at the deals we've done already. Kepa, done and in the door. Christian Norgard, done and in the door. Zubamendi, done and in the door. It looks like Christian Mosquera is going to be done and in the door by the end of this week. It looks like a striker will be done in the next week. These deals are all almost completely finished, and they'll be, at July 1 when they can be officially at the club. Looks like almost 4 or 5 new players will already be at the club. It's crazy. And for Rodrigo, this Club World Cup has another 2 weeks in it. Then he's going to need a week off. He'll probably vacation, whatever it might be. So we're talking about not even really starting the negotiations with the player until mid to late July. And I think that could really be the biggest issue for Arsenal to get this deal done because they really want to move fast in this window. I do think he is still the number one option in many ways, but I could see that Berta getting a little bit tired of doing the negotiations, Madrid being annoying, and Berta just moving on to another opportunity, another target. And if you read the reports that we've seen in the news as of yesterday, it does look like Arsenal are at the very least putting some pressure on Real Madrid and Rodrigo as Eberechi Eze has become a top target for Arsenal and one where it's not advanced, but the player is very interested. He's a boyhood Arsenal fan, was at Hale End, would rather go to Arsenal over Tottenham. It appears he's going to go to one of the two. His fee is kind of high, 68 million euro release clause that can be paid in 3 installments. So you're only looking at like 22.5 million a year, which is not terrible in terms of paying it over 3 years. Some release clauses, they like you to pay it all up front, and that has been a big stumbling block for Arsenal in the past. But Eze is a top player and a highly proven player in the Premier League. Just his last 3 seasons, the 22-23 year, he had 10 goals and 4 assists in 2,600 minutes. The next year, not this past year, but the year before, 23-24, 11 goals and 4 assists in just 2,000 minutes in the Premier League. That's a crazy return. Just 27 appearances to get 15 goal contributions from a left-wing attacking mid type of player. That's a high amount. And then this year, a very solid year, especially considering how slow Crystal Palace started. 8 goals and 8 assists in 2,600 minutes. That seems to be his sweet spot, right? He's played 4 years in the Premier League. 3 of those years, he's played somewhere between 25-60 and 26-60 in the Premier League. So he seemingly plays about 2,600 minutes every year, which is very, very solid. Like if you were to play every minute in the Premier League, you play 3,400 minutes. So he's playing about 2/3 of the minutes, which is probably about where he'd play with Martinelli, Trossard, all the attacking options we have, as well as obviously playing a big role in the Champions League. And I've seen a lot of people say they prefer Eze. I wouldn't go as far as to say I prefer Eze. I like that he's Premier League proven. I like that he's a boyhood Arsenal fan. I like that this deal is easier to do. I like that he's a more inverted, kind of like coming inside into those half space areas type of player. But if we do that, then we do need a left back who is going to overlap. We need somebody who's going to hold the width. So that means he works well with Calafiori, potentially. Doesn't work so well if Miles Lewis-Skelly's playing left back. If we get Jarell Hato, he works really well with him. So it's a lot of, it really depends on how we're going to play. I've seen people think we're going to maybe get both of them. I think that's a 0% chance unless we sell Gabriel Martinelli for a massive fee, and in which case I love Martinelli, but Eze and Rodrigo in for Martinelli out would be an incredible bit of business from us this summer. My expectation is Eze is, number one, a true option, someone we're considering, but really relies on how this Rodrigo deal progresses. What I like is we're not going to go all out for Rodrigo. Real Madrid's like, get out of here, and then we have no left-wing option. It seems like Eze's willing to wait for us and wait till mid-July to see where we're at, and I'm fine with that. And it's a big thing that I think Arsenal, if they don't have a backup option for Rodrigo, would not let this deal keep going on with Rodrigo and start moving to other targets. So Berta is moving fast. He's moving smart. He's getting these attacking options in. And I know it seems a little quiet on the striker front this week, but I'd expect a big revelation this weekend on where we're going to move on that. So when we come in Monday with our new episode, you'll get a lot more information on striker. Moving into the defensive side of things, I've already mentioned CRISTHIAN Mosquera, the 20-year-old Valencia center back who has 12 months left on his contract. This deal is getting better and better by the day. It was originally reported to be around 19 million euros. I have it from a very solid source that it's going to be a lot more like 14 million euros. So you're looking at him, Norgard, Kepa for a combined 30 million euros. That is unbelievable business. Obviously, these are a lot of kind of backup role players, but they're players who, not necessarily talking Kepa so much, but really with all three of them, players who are going to take non-important minutes off the backs of players who played so many minutes last year. So Saliba and Gabriel are going to get to play fewer minutes. They've played 86% of the minutes in the last 3 years. That's crazy considering Gabriel missed the last 2 months of this season. Saliba missed the last 3 months of the 22-23 season. So basically, every minute they've been fit, they've played. CRISTHIAN Mosquera really solves a big part of that issue. And he can also slot in at right back if ever needed as well. A very, very strong signing. Norgard gives Zubamendi, Rice, Marino, all these players an option to play a little bit more advanced positions. He can play a little bit more advanced. He can really kind of slot in either position and Premier League proven. So the key there with this backup being Premier League proven is those lesser Premier League games, the ones against, relegation fodder at home in the middle of the title race, like maybe February, March, we're trying to compete in the Champions League. Like Norgard can take those minutes and take some stress off of Zubamendi and Rice's back. Huge signings there too. Really good business from Andrea Berta so far. Really enjoying this transfer window. I hope it doesn't turn sour mid-July and as we start moving into the sales, but it's hard not to be impressed with the way Berta is moving so far. And lastly, everybody's wondering where Takahiro Tomyasu is. We haven't heard or seen from Takahiro Tomyasu in what feels like, 2 years. It's crazy. He had another knee surgery, as we know, last year. There's been some rumors that Tomyasu may be interested in just a move back to the Japanese league where less stress on his body, can play for his national team. It's not a high-tier rumor. It's something that's just kind of being floated around, but it does appear with the Mosquera signing that Arsenal are preparing to move on without Tomyasu, which is a bummer, obviously. He did just sign a contract extension about a year ago, so Tomyasu is an unbelievable player, but the injuries have been just brutal. We'll have to see what happens here in preseason and training to see where he is in terms of fitness, but a very odd situation with Tomyasu, as always. Thanks for watching Arsenal Report. Every single day, Monday to Friday, transfer updates on the biggest rumors around Arsenal, how they fit into the side, who's coming in, who's going out. Make sure to subscribe right here. It's right there, that button. And we'll talk to you on Monday.